Could you imagine a time where you had all the skills that made weight loss so easy you couldn't help but do it? You're going into the office, you're feeling confident, you love the way your trousers fit you, they're not hugging your midsection like they used to. That can be the case. So what I'm going to run through in this video is 5 core principles that will help you turn from businesswoman to cover model. If you're new here, I'd love you to click like, press subscribe, follow along, because I'm going to be giving you all the source, like all the secrets to become the most confident version of you in and outside of the office. So stick around. It all starts with looking at yourself through a different lens. This is really important because you have to start thinking like the woman you want to become. Okay, one thing that really helped me back in my own fitness journey, when I was 30 kilos heavier, I used to work in recruitment long before I became a coach. And I constantly thought through the lens of Andrew, who was unconfident, unhappy, hated how clothes fitted. So I would be like, okay, I can't maybe get the help from a coach because I just don't have the resources. I can't do the workouts after work because I've got to prioritize my career. I physically don't have the time. I would look for every single barrier to not doing the thing, okay? And not only that, I went deep in that. I was like, I couldn't say no at social events because I was worried what my friends would think. And honestly, if you ask them, I was always the person on a diet, ironically. But I had so many beliefs and barriers to my own journey to literally just doing the thing. Once I started thinking different, it all changed. So when you start looking through the lens of you, so the person who is confident, empowered, what would you be doing day to day? Is it you get up earlier to get your steps in? Is it you could plan your food out in advance? It could be you actually saying no and saying to yourself, does this food align with my goals? When you can start to think like the new you, it makes weight loss so much simpler and you start naturally becoming the person you want to be. The next key point is your boundaries. They are everything, because if you are constantly stressed or unorganized, you will make terrible choices with food. Prime example, when I used to work in recruitment, going back to that when I was in the corporate world, if I'd had a bad day, I would go to Domino's because I just thought, oh, I can't be able to cook. Okay, same way, if I didn't have food prepared for me in the fridge, then I would order food or I'd get a takeaway or I'd get something, quick and easy to chuck in the oven. That will keep you unhappy and keep you unconfident in the way you feel in clothes. Okay, so it's really important that you take that time aside to either cook extra dinner or have some food prepared, because all bad decisions, as I've said, will happen with food when you're stressed or unorganized. So get ahead and really keep on top of your stress. Think of it like a big bucket. If you keep pouring into it, eventually it overflows into every area of your life. You have to eventually tip that bucket. Now, it's not like you need to start taking months off at a time or requesting your annual leave as you pause this video. It's just that if you can just have those little minutes of solitude, if you can keep on top of your stress throughout the day and get organized, get routine, it's going to help you tenfold. Which brings me on to my next point. Because I was so stressed, I was so unorganized all the time, I had so many limiting beliefs, and you have to break those to get you to becoming the most confident version of you. And obviously it does sort of tie in with a new lens, but these limiting beliefs could be anything. Instead of being like, I can't, so I don't, you need to change that to, I can't, so I find a way. When you can have that rule of abundance, that mindset, when you look back at your limiting beliefs and being like, okay, I'll never get there, or it feels so far away, it's why it can help chunking things down, but you have to break through that, because in the discomfort, that's where the gold is. That's where you're growing. That's where, instead of that fixed mindset, you go to that abundance mindset. So break these limiting beliefs, because you've got tons of them, which have got you to where you're at now, but they can change. One of the biggest key points that you can implement is not relying on motivation to get shit done. You have to understand that motivation is extremely emotional. There are going to be so many things that impact your motivation day to day. Stress in work, your luteal phase during your menstrual cycle, if you have a regular 28-day cycle. These are all things that will impact your motivation day to day, because as soon as you've had a stressful day at work, you get home, you take your shoes off, you put Netflix on, it's fucking game over. Absolutely no chance you're going to go to the gym. Don't worry, I was there. But if you can understand that it's not motivation that's going to help you lose 5 kilos, drop a dress size, it's going to be that level of discipline. It's the same way no one's ever motivated to brush the teeth, no one's ever motivated to turn on the lights, but the byproduct is, if you don't want tooth decay and you don't want to be sat in the fucking dark staring at the ceiling, push it to the side and understand that's not going to get me to where I want to go. So discipline will fuel you, and it will get you fired up, and it will be what makes your habits stick long term. And I'm aware this video has been punchy, so I'm just going to roll with it, because I want you to sit there and actually apply this shit as well, by the way. Don't just sit here and be like, oh, right, this seems quite a cool video. Yeah, I enjoyed that, even though I'm in my office, just sat here riffing, like talking shit. But like, I want you to sit after every single point and be like, right, how can I apply that to my lifestyle? Or am I doing that already? And if you're not, great, you've got something to work on. And that's what the goal of this video is, to take away where you can go and action these points straight away, because they all add up. Habits really do stack, especially when it comes to weight loss, okay? So it brings me on to the most final point of all. If you want to look extraordinary, if you want to look like you belong on a cover of a magazine, if you want to feel confident, if you want to feel empowered, if you're driven in your career, I guarantee that you're not willing to stay content, okay? Think of it, especially this is how I like to phrase you, again, one, how it helps your diet to never happen in the future. But if I said to you, you're going to be on the same salary for the rest of your life, how motivated are you going to turn up to work? If I said to you, you're going to get a 10 grand pay rise in the next 6 months if you do X, Y, and Z, you're going to be fucking showing up. And that's the level of standard I want you applying to yourself day to day, because it's really important to remember, and please embed this into you. If you want to look extraordinary, you have to do extra than the ordinary person. So it will look a little bit odd when you're saying no at social events. People will ask, why are you doing that? Like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? You don't need to, like, you're thin enough, you're skinny already, like, you're skinny already, you're thinner than me, okay? And they will transfer their own beliefs onto you, but they're the ordinary person. You're not trying to look like everyone else. You're trying to become the most confident, most empowered, sexiest version of you possible. And that will come from doing the extra stuff. It's doing the steps when you can't be fucking asked. Or it's pissing it down outside. Do you know what I mean? Get a coat, you're not going to rust. Like, but I was there, okay? So you have to understand that if you're just doing this extra now, it's not like you've got to run your ass into the gym, like into the ground, be in the gym 7 days a week. You literally just need to be in the gym 3 days a week. But it's the extra things. It's going the extra mile. It's the saying the no. It's the leaning in when it feels uncomfortable. It's the pushing yourself with your exercise, your steps, nutrition, etc., etc. I'll break that down in another other videos. But you have to do more than the ordinary person, okay? Now, these are the 5 core principles that have helped me lose 30 kilos. They've helped me apply it to well over 150 ladies who've lost at least 10 kilos right now. Not just like a fitness program where it's like, yeah, I've helped 150 ladies do this. Like, no, I've got proof of the 150 people that have lost at least 10 kilos. There's obviously countless more who've lost a little bit less than that because they're smaller individuals. But it's really, really important that you apply this, because this is what we apply into my clients' lives. So any questions, I would love you to drop a comment. I'd love any feedback on this as well. Constructive. Do you know what I mean? Or actually, no, just good feedback. One thing I really stand for is positivity. Like, yes, I can be quite punchy and direct, and I've got a monotone voice, which does make it really frustrating when I get an amazing gift and I'm like, oh, cheers. And they're like, what, you don't like it? This is just my voice. I can't change that. But I want to make social media, I want to make this channel somewhere where we can bring each other up and get shit done and get results, because there's enough negativity going on, and that's not my style, okay? So if you found this useful, please drop it a like, subscribe again, leave a comment below, and I'll see you in the next one.